Hello and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be talking about the newest palette from ItsBel Cosmetics, and it is the Cool Summer eyeshadow palette. And we have our very first matte eyeshadows from ItsBel. Super exciting. This is a larger palette so far, the largest palette they have created. They've been doing a 9-pan eyeshadow palettes, and this one is 16 eyeshadows and a really beautiful, fun summer color story. Lots of fun, bright mattes as well as some super shimmery, sparkly shimmers. There are some slight textural differences between some of the shimmers. Some of them are a little bit more sheer, some of them are a little bit more opaque, but all super shiny. And I did receive this palette in PR, so thank you so much to ItsBel Cosmetics for sending me this palette. And I do also have a affiliated code with ItsBel Cosmetics. I will put up on the screen in case you're interested in purchasing anything from them and you want to save some money. This palette is $48, so it is a bit more expensive than their 9-pan eyeshadow palettes, understandably so. It is a larger palette. So let's get right into the 3 looks, and then I'll give you some of my thoughts at the end of the video. Taking Margarita right into the inner third of my crease. Taking Flip Flops right next to that. I should probably start it off with this shade in the inner portion, but it's fine. And just going back in with a little bit more. I feel like it's sticking down just a little bit. It could be the primer. This is the first time, I'm pretty sure, that ItsBel has ever done matte eyeshadows. And also that means it's the first time I'm using them. Going in with Boozy Lavender onto the outer corner. And I'm just going to be blending it out. Going back in with just a little bit more. Here as well. Going in with some light powder just over the edges. Taking Boozy Lavender underneath my lower lash line. This one definitely feels a little bit thinner. And I feel like it's a little less vibrant than what it looks like in the pan, but that could also be because I didn't use like a white eyeshadow primer. I'm definitely going to use another primer for the next look because I feel like, do you see how it looks like the shadow has like darkened on the edges? Mostly on these 2 shades, but particularly the teal shade, the aqua shade. Picked out Waves, and I sprayed my brush after I picked it up. And that's gonna go right onto the inner portion of my lid, and then right in the center, I think I'm gonna go in with Festival Nights. Oh yeah, that was a good choice. And then actually I think I'm going to take another shimmer onto the outer corner. These are definitely a little bit sheer. And then Blueberry Pop is going to go out here to just kind of deepen it up essentially. Oh, that is so pretty. So pretty, a little bit of fallout. Here's the first finished look. I put on the Ardell Pumpkin Lashes. For the second look, I'm priming with the Beauty Bay eyeshadow primer in the shade White. Taking Seaside, and I'm going to be creating an eyeshadow wing with it. Just super quick and easy. I'm going to take that underneath my lower lash line as well. Really big wing here. This is more of like a denim blue. The other one is more of like a indigo almost. Yeah, I would say it's, well, it's not truly an indigo. It has a little bit less purple in it. And then I'm going to take Pistachio Sundae underneath. And then taking It's a Flamingo, and that's going to go right above. I do wish there was something to kind of help blend this one out. Just something lighter. A lighter pink. The shade is super vibrant. I could even actually, I think, build up more. Taking some light powder on the edges. Taking Pink Lemonade, and I sprayed my brush. And I'm just going to put that right above the blue. Should I leave the blue matte, or do I want to layer something over it? That is the question, isn't it? I feel like you could get this shade a little bit more opaque if you wanted to, if you used a glitter primer. and just really like went in with a lot of the shadow. I'm actually gonna go in with my finger a little bit. Ooh, so pretty. There we go. I definitely was able to get it even more like shiny, like that. So I think maybe I'm gonna layer bikini over seaside. So I'm gonna pick that up on the same brush I did the wing with, and I just lightly dampen my brush, and we're just gonna layer that over. Since the shade I could tell is a little bit more on the translucent side. Oh, that is super fun, just all around sparkly. Here's the second finished look. I put on the Ardell Pumpkin lashes. Priming with the Beauty Bay eyeshadow primer. Taking Pistachio Sundae right into my crease. Next I'm taking Palmyra onto the outer corner. And I'm just first gonna pack it on. And also bringing it underneath. And then I'm gonna use Pistachio Sundae again. I'm gonna work that into the edge here, and then going back in with the other smaller brush and just working it outwards. And then back in with Pistachio Sundae. Taking some NYX glitter primer, and I'm gonna do a fake half cut crease situation, and I'm gonna take Waves. The shade is a little bit squishy in the pan. Picking that up, and I'm gonna put that right up against the edge here, out here as well. And then taking Summer Nights under that over the rest of my lid, and here as well. And just making sure there's no harsh edge on the outer portion of my eye. And then I'm taking Flip Flops underneath the rest of my lower lash line. And I'm going to layer Blue Curacao over that. This is the shade that's right above the dark green shade. And I spray my brush a little bit just to help it apply with less fallout. And then I'm going to also take it on my inner corner as that inner corner highlight. Put on the Wings lashes from Blend Bunny, and here's the third finished look. When I first saw the color story of this palette, I was super excited. I was also really excited to see matte eyeshadows from ItsBel, especially because I think it's really nice to be able to just dip it into one palette and create looks. Don't get me wrong though, I do love all shimmer palettes. I really feel like it's also fun to pair with some other matte eyeshadows, but there is something about having a full color story that is a mixture of both in an eyeshadow palette. So these are ItsBel's first matte eyeshadows. I think that they performed great. However, I do feel like they're a little bit on the thinner side, so they took a little bit more building up. And I also had some shadows that were darkening up on the edges. I do think that a lighter eyeshadow primer did help alleviate that just a little bit, but overall that is something that I think really stood out to me, just using specifically these two shades. Also, I feel like I definitely see the difference between these two shades, but also because they're next to each other, like they're not that different. I think I would have switched one of these out for another color and just kept one. Like I think if only one of the shades were in the palette, I don't think I would really miss the other one. Like they're just similar enough that they can be used interchangeably with the rest of these mattes. I really love the different pops from It's a Flamingo to Boozy Lavender and Flip Flops. I really love bright colors like this, especially in a summer themed palette. The deepest shades are Seaside and Palmyra, which are not quite like deep enough for my preference, but I do think they give you just enough of depth, especially for a more colorful summer themed eyeshadow palette. I understand that not everything needs to have lots of deepening up shades. That is really just such a personal preference. So those are my thoughts on the mattes. They're buildable, which is a plus sign, but a little bit on the thinner side, which overall is just not my favorite type of matte formula. So let's talk about the shimmers. Like I said in the beginning, there's a couple of different textures in here, which is very very typical for a ItsBel eyeshadow palette. There's some like super smooth shades like Pink Lemonade, Summer Glow, and then some a little bit more sparkly like Blueberry Pop, as well as Waves. And also Waves is the only shade in here that is squishy, so I do have to be careful with that shade because anything that is squishy like that does tend to crease on me kind of pretty much no matter what I do. So I will be trying to avoid putting this shade into my crease too much. Now, I definitely think you might already have some of these shades from other palettes from other brands, specifically this shade right here, Bikini, this one, Waves, and maybe even Summer Nights. I feel like they do look a bit similar to some shadows. I unfortunately don't have time to do swatch comparisons. Let me know in the comments below if you plan on picking it up or if you already did. What are your thoughts on it? And I do have lots of tutorials with indie eyeshadows uploading my channel, and I will put them up on the screen in case you're interested and you want to keep watching. And don't forget to like the video, and I hope to see you next time.